Hello, Virgo. Welcome to Soul Good. I'm Amber Marie, and this is your November 2022 Tarotscope. If you're curious about the decks that I'm using today, you can find a list of them in the description box below. You can also find links to my social media accounts, as well as links to information on personal readings and the Soul Good membership channel on Telegram. Before we jump in, I would like to remind you that this is a general reading, not a personal reading, so please only take what resonates with you and leave the rest. I would also like to apologize for my absence in the month of October. I had a lot of my own healing going on and really just did not have the capacity to take on anything extra at all. That being said, I am going to make up for that by time traveling back to the month of October, taking a look at what you learned or healed, also looking at how you've grown because of those things, right? And then coming back to November to see what has come in for you for this month, how it will help you move forward, and guidance for you moving forward as well. So I'm really excited to jump in and see what you have going on for you this month. There will be a timestamp in the description box if you would like to skip ahead through all the shuffling. So let's jump in. Please, Father, Mother, Life, Universe, Spirits, Guides, Angels, our cosmic team, our ancestors, our higher selves, what did Virgo learn or heal from in October 2022, please? What did Virgo learn or heal from in the month of October? Not those. This one, yes. Okay. Are there more? Yes. What? Okay. There they are. It's like, these are it. Here you go. And how have you grown because of this? How have you grown because of what you learned or healed in the month of October? How has Virgo grown, please? Okay, thank you. And what has come up for Virgo in the month of November 2022, please? What has come in for Virgo for the month of November 2022, please? Yep, that one. Thank you. What it has come in for Virgo for November 2022. I do feel like there's at least one more in here. What has come in for Virgo for the month of November? Yep, thank you. How will this help Virgo moving forward? Okay, like that. How will this help Virgo moving forward, please? Yep, okay, thank you. And what guidance does Virgo need for the month of November and beyond? What guidance does Virgo need for the month of November and beyond, please? What guidance does Virgo need for the month of November and beyond? What guidance does Virgo need, please? For some of you, I feel like you're unwilling to take guidance, which is really interesting. I don't know who that resonates with or who that's for, but it just feels like, yeah, thank you. There they are. It's like I addressed it and now here they come, right? Some of you, I feel, are unwilling to take external guidance, and, you know, you've got to be flexible. You've got to be flexible, right? It's what helps you grow and expand your consciousness. Are there, yeah, I'm getting there's at least one more in here. There it is. Thank you. Okay, let me just get these out of the way so we can jump in and see. Okay, so let's take a look at what you learned or healed from in October. Firstly, we have the sacred union, beloved within, inner and outer relationships. Okay, so here's the thing, Virgo. I feel like for some of you, it's interesting because I'm getting like two different stories. For some of you, your relationships took like a front row seat in October, right? I feel like for some of you, there was almost like a coming together, right? A new level of your external relationships, like reaching a new level of perhaps vulnerability, intimacy, trust, love, devotion, right? These sorts of things. I feel like it's interesting because it almost feels like it came out of nowhere. Like just all of a sudden, you just started kind of like dumping things, right? And it's not to say that you're just dumping things onto people or something like that, but it just feels like you allowed yourself to open up and may have just expressed a lot of things, right? Which could have, for some of you, brought you much closer to those that you have external relationships with. For others of you, I feel like you found yourself dumping because there has been this alignment within you, recognizing that there could have been something that was causing imbalance in your self, but it's, how do I word this? Like your external relationships were bringing you imbalance internally, right? So if that resonates with you, I feel like your relationship with yourself took a front seat for the month of October, right? I feel like you started kind of taking inventory, if you will, of what you need, what you want, how you want to feel, right? And if there were external relationships that weren't aligning with that, I feel like some of you may have essentially walked away from them, gotten rid of them, let them fall to the wayside, whatever it is, right? But it feels like there was a focus on you and what you need and what you want. For some of you, if this resonates, I feel like you have been putting yourself, your wants, your needs, your desires, what's going to make you happy on the back burner, right? It feels like you hadn't been speaking your truth. You hadn't been expressing yourself fully, right? Maybe you had to some extent, but I feel like there's something, it's almost being shown to me like something in the corner of a room that's not being shown, right? Like hidden in the dark, if you will. Not to say like an elephant in the room, though that may resonate with some of you. Like it feels like there was like this elephant in the room, and you weren't, like nobody knew, or the external parties had no idea about how you truly felt, right? So I feel like regardless of which resonates with you, both I feel are due to that relationship with yourself, right? Whether you, if you opened up, it feels to me like you opened up because it's what you needed to do for you, right? You may have felt called to do this, essentially, like if you open up, things are going to get better, right? Like it's almost like, I don't know, it's interesting because it doesn't feel like if you opened up willingly and there was no tension or conflict. I feel like it was just something that you felt like you needed to do for you, but also that it was something that you knew would be beneficial to those external relationships. Okay. So that's really interesting. Um, yeah. Let's see what else we have. The bloom, creations realized, right time, harvest, and celebrate. So the thing that's standing out to me here, Virgo, with this card is, interestingly, that right time, right? I feel like for those of you who decided to open up, I feel like you celebrated after that, because I feel like it just brought in this bounty again of like a new level of your relationship. And I feel like it opened up for so much more love and so much more understanding between you and your external relationships, right? It feels like it brought this beautiful new level of, yeah, just like understanding in the dynamic of the relationship. I feel like the love has only grown because of that, right? So it feels like you have this big bounty of things that came in because you were willing to be intimate with someone else, to open up to someone else, right? Fully, like really, really fully. And for others of you, I feel like there's this right time thing. It's like, how do I word this? Especially if you were dealing with those external relationships that were creating imbalance within you, it feels to me like there was like a cutoff, if that makes any sense at all. It's like, you have to do this like right now. This needs to be done right now. You cannot continue to dump into this thing, this situation, this relationship, whatever it is. So it feels to me like it was like it had to be done, right? And it was the right time. I feel like for some of you, you are kind of at your wit's end, as it were, right? Really just, I can't take any more of this. I just can't keep doing this to myself, right? And I feel like there are some of you who came to a realization, if that resonated with you, of I'm creating my own reality. And if I'm miserable or if I'm unhappy or I'm dissatisfied with my experience, it is my own doing and I must do something to change it, right? I feel like you came to some understanding that things weren't going to just change, that you needed to take action, okay? And I feel like it felt like the right time for you, even if that right time was simply because you were just, you had just had enough, okay? And I feel like for this card, it doesn't necessarily have to apply to relationships in general. It could have been a job, it could have been a living situation, you know, something like that as well. You also have here the fertile void, inner winter, rest, patience, potency, and secret beginnings. For some of you, I feel like patience was a highlight for, it's like patience with you, right? Not necessarily patience with anything coming into your life or making you know an appearance, even though maybe for a select few of you that could apply. More likely than not, I feel like there's something here about having patience with yourself, right? Because it feels to me like this is a whole new space for you. I feel like October brought you to a new way of being, or a new level of understanding, right? Regardless of whether that's about the relationship with yourself, your relationship with others, or your relationship with your external experience in general, right? Your job, your living situation, excuse me, you know, all of those sorts of things. I do feel like there's an element of potency here, almost that this needs to happen. You may have found yourself like wanting to be alone, or finding yourself more alone than what you may have typically been used to, right? It yeah, it feels to me like perhaps even before the month of October, I feel like there was kind of this, I don't even know how to describe it. Um, it's like this lingering feeling of, the only way I can describe it is like darkness. Okay. So maybe it's depression or anxiety, or, you know, just not being honest with yourself or not being truthful, right? It feels like a dark cloud of sorts. And you may have experienced that um, earlier than October, but, you know, potentially in October as well. And I feel like there could have been a certain level of, again, like needing to be patient with yourself as you move through this new way of being, or this new understanding that you may have come to in the month of October. I also feel like there could have been something within you that triggered that essentially um, need to either pour out to someone to be more intimate with them, or and separating yourself from someone, because it feels to me like there's a call for a secret beginning. Like, I don't really know what's coming after I do this, but I feel like it should be done, if that makes sense. So it's this, I don't really know what's going to happen next, but I know that I need to make this move. Okay. I feel like there was some sort of like feeling that you had, right? Of, if I do this, something better could potentially be taking its place, or something better could come because of those choices, right? Yeah, you have your morning dew, clarity, a fresh start, a positive outlook. Again, like I was saying, there was this, you know, element of there's something different over the horizon if I should choose to do these things. So again, you know, I feel like you learned, I feel, to some extent, or let me rephrase that. I feel like you gained some sort of clarity to some extent. And I do feel like you learned that you don't necessarily, how do I word it? It's like you don't have to fear what you don't understand or don't know the outcome of, right? Which can be very difficult for those of you, you know, for Virgo. It can be very difficult because Virgo is incredibly, I mean, at points on the like lower side of things, can be very controlling, right? So I feel like for some of you, that may not have been easy to simply surrender to what you felt like you needed to do, or to surrender to the potential for a fresh start or a positive new beginning, right? Again, I feel like that could have been very difficult for some of you if that resonates. And I love the fact, Virgo, that we have secret beginnings here and then this fresh start, right? Because it's showing essentially this transitionary period that could have taken place potentially before we got into October, but through the month of October as well. And finally, we have here Brothers of the Rose, Sacred Masculine, Honor, Protection, Support. Okay, for those of you who resonate with the outer relationships bit that I was talking about at the top of the reading, I feel like for some of you, there was this realization of this is what I need, right? Whether you're a female or male, whether you consider yourself a masculine or feminine energy, right? I feel like there's a level here of honoring yourself and choosing things, whatever that looks like, to honor you, to support you, and to protect you, right? And I don't feel like this is selfishness. I feel like this is recognizing how important it is to give to you, to honor you, to, step into this beautiful relationship with yourself. So it's interesting to me. For others of you, I feel like maybe these were things that were missing from your experience and you were seeking those things, right? Which is maybe why you decided to release some relationships. For others of you, I feel like if you were open to dumping things out, right, you could have potentially, again, like held a lot of things in before, and you may have found yourself moving more into this sacred energy where you want to honor that relationship, support that relationship, and it's like not fearing what might come from expressing those things, right? I feel like there's some level of, I don't want to say protecting yourself, but it just feels like regardless of what happens after I dump all of these things out, I know that things are going to be okay, right? So it's very beautiful to me. Very beautiful to me. Some of you could have found yourselves coming into a union with a sacred masculine energy. Okay, not that it has to be a male, but a sacred masculine energy, one that's more aware, right? More conscious, has different perspectives than maybe you've heard of or heard before from other masculine energies, right? So, for example, we have this kind of wounded masculine energy, right? Which is abuse of power and dominance and aggression and control, being very competitive or confrontational, critical, right? Abusive in general, perhaps avoidant or, unsupportive, or unstable. And you could have experienced that frequently, or had experienced that quite a bit in your past. And then there's this more sacred or natural masculine energy that I feel could have shown up in your life in the month of October, whether that be from in the form of a male or female, where this energy is very confident, very supportive, very focused, very stable, very has this sense of clarity, and is able to be very certain about what they want to do and assertive about what they want and need, right? That this individual would have clear boundaries, right? Display courage. So you may relate with some of those things. Or if you opened up to somebody, this could have been you expressing those bits of yourself as well, right? And you could have maybe just come into essentially union with this side of yourself, this sacred masculine side, okay? So that's incredibly beautiful. It seems to me, Virgo, that for you, the month of October had a lot going on, a lot going on. So how have all of these things helped you to grow? Well, yeah, I feel like you have milk and honey here, and I feel that if you chose to move through this energy versus resisting it, I feel like you likely got to experience some of that milk and honey. And I'm not saying it's like a plethora of material abundance or even spiritual abundance, but I feel like you've gotten droplets, like breadcrumbs of it to show you, hey, this is what happens when you follow what you feel inside. This is what happens when you honor yourself. This is what happens when you recognize and understand that you co create your reality and you play a big, big part in that, right? So again, I feel like some of you could have experienced some of that milk and honey, right? Maybe again, you maybe you just started feeling better, just energetically speaking, right? Upon doing these things. Maybe you got spiritual downloads. Maybe you did receive material abundance in some way, shape, or form. Or people showing up for you, right? Who are supportive, like I was speaking of here, right? So it feels to me like if you allowed these things to happen, then you got to experience a bit of that milk and honey, right? And essentially God's saying, hey, I see the work you're doing. You are choosing to do these things and you're stepping forward, right? So let me meet you. Let me show you what happens when you do that. Okay. You also have here a flexible. So yeah, if you experienced these things as I spoke of in this first row here, right? I feel like you've grown in the sense of you've learned that flexibility is not something to fear. That flexibility is not something that you should, you know, I don't know. Um yeah, it feels like because that Virgo energy can be, like I was saying, a bit controlling at times, or a bit critical at times, right? Or paid attention to perhaps insignificant details, or wanted a certain situation to work out exactly as you wanted it to, kind of that perfectionist Virgo energy, right? I feel like if you went through these things through the month of October, you likely learned how to be more flexible. And I feel like you could have learned that you don't need to fear that, right? You don't need to fear letting go of control and surrendering a bit, letting God take the reins, essentially, right? Or the universe, however you want to word it, right? So I feel like that's going to help you move through the following months with a bit more ease, right? Should you have chose to do those things. So let's see for November. What do you have here? The Seas of Mintaka, seeing potential, bringing unconsciousness to light. So through the month of November, I do feel like you could potentially have things dropping into your awareness, but I feel like it's this shedding light on certain aspects of yourself, and seeing potential within you for something different, for a new experience. There seems to be a certain level of hope coming in the sense of, and I feel like part of that is because some of you have put down that burden again of needing to control things. And I feel like it's brought you this level of hope because you've seen God, source, universe move in your life. Even if it's not something grandiose, right? So I feel like there's that it's this level of potential, but in the form of hope, right? I feel like there may not have been these huge clues that you should, see things for what they could be, but rather just seeing little things taking place in your life and recognizing those, and then allowing it to bring you hope for other things to come, right? So through November, this could be happening for you. I also feel, again, as you become more flexible and as you open up to these different facets of yourself and allow, that's a key word there, allow yourself to experience different energies regardless of how uncomfortable they may make you. I feel like you are bringing things into your awareness, right? Bringing things to light that need to be navigated, that need to be felt, dealt with, and healed, then released, right? So this feels like to me that November could be shining a spotlight on some things that, maybe need some work within yourself, where you've had attachments to potentially, certain ways of being, thinking, your habits, your behaviors, those sorts of things that could have potentially been limiting you, right? and I do want to apologize. I'm getting this burpy fear energy. I feel like there's a lot of fear here that you're releasing through the month of November around surrender, truly. And around also seeing yourself, like really, really fucking seeing yourself, Virgo. I'm not talking about, you know, I don't know how to word this. You know, sometimes you'll have conversations with people. I've experienced this myself, and I'm actually guilty of this myself. Um, where, you know, you're talking about a certain situation, and as you're expressing things, you're seeing things from only your point of view, right? And from that perspective, you don't feel like you are, I don't want to say guilty, but that's the best way I can put it. That, yeah, thank you, Lord, that you contributed to the bullshit, right? Sometimes you don't like to see that. And I feel like there's an opportunity here for you to gain a higher perspective and really take a look at where you have played a part in your own suffering, in your own pain, in your own bullshit, right? So, you know, and that's not always easy to look at, but it is helpful. It is there for you. And I think that's something that I need to say, right? It's not happening to you, it's happening for you so that these things can come to light. And again, you have the opportunity to heal them, to deal with them, release them, and move forward in a new way of being. You also have here trust that, ooh, okay. You have here trust the timing, trust the wave you came in on. Time is not running out. Some of you feel like you dropped the ball. Okay. Um, maybe I don't know, maybe that's something you said to yourself, like I really dropped the ball on this one or something like that. I feel like, interestingly, there's something here about age, which I have really never, not that I can remember, had something like this come in. For some of you, I feel like your age is like something that might be looming over you this month, right? Like for some of you, I feel like it's like you may feel like you're starting over, and that may bring some fear for some of you, right? Because of your age, right? Your physical age. But you're being asked here, right, to trust that time is not running out, to trust that you are exactly where you need to be, right? To not fear that. I do feel like you have two water pictures with water in them here. Okay. And so I feel like there's an element here about flowing, first of all, and second of all, about cleansing yourself, your energy. Because I feel like you could have been holding on to things that potentially weren't even yours. Maybe ancestral things that you're healing or something like that. Something, I don't know what that's about. I do want to read the book for you for this particular card. I just feel like there's something in the guidebook here for someone. So let's see. So often, those who feel like they're here for a reason sense that time is running out, and they spend their life worrying that they might miss their moment. But the only way to miss your life or your moment is to spend your time oh my goodness, let me try that again. The only way to miss your life or your moment is to spend your time worrying about missing it. It's never too late to answer a calling, and you're never too old. The tides of your life are magnificently orchestrated to come in and out in perfect unison. Don't race ahead and ride a wave that was never meant for you. You'll waste your precious time and energy when instead you could be enjoying your life. Everything has a season, and you're being called to trust the one you're in. Don't let impatience, comparison, competition, or paranoia disturb the seeds. It seems that everyone has anxiety these days, constantly scanning for something they might have missed or a possible threat. Keeping our mind and body pointed in the same direction as our soul is near impossible at such reactive speeds. Right now, you're being reminded to take a breath and trust the wave you came in on, to trust the season you're in. Time isn't running out. There's plenty of time. There's no rush, and it's never too late. How can you trust the timing of your life a little more? right? So yeah, I feel like the month of November is again bringing in a sense of patience, that sense of flexibility, right? I feel like it's, the things that took place in October are flowing into the month of November and continuing so that you can continue to nurture those things and to apply them or implement them into your life, into your reality. So how are these things going to help you moving forward, Virgo? Look at that. We have the Justice card showing up for you first, which is beautiful because here's the thing. I feel like this is going to help you to gain a lot of clarity around yourself, right? Your truth, what you feel you should be honoring, what you believe to be fair. Okay. I also feel like these things I also feel have been teaching you and will continue through the month of November to teach you essentially that you reap what you sow, right? Cause and effect. You are a co-creator in your own reality. And so the thoughts you think, the actions you put out into the world, the energy you sit on, how you speak, all of those things impact your reality. You create consciousness patterns and those things find their way back to you. So I feel like this is something that you're going to continue to nurture through the month of November and beyond, right? Helping you to bring yourself into balance. Okay. And I love this because I feel like if you allow yourself to embody this, I feel like things are going to feel, or life may feel a lot more fair to you, if that makes sense, a lot more balanced, right? So very, very interesting. Again, I also feel like it's going to help you to continue to gain more clarity on you. You have the devil here in reverse, which is beautiful as well. So the devil in reverse often for me, and is coming through now as well, is this energy of freedom, releasing yourself, right? Taking control back over your life. And it's interesting because it's not trying to control the outcomes, right? It's just releasing, how do I word this? Taking back control in the sense of not allowing those, for lack of better terms, I don't really like saying it like this, but yes, okay, I'm going to alter it. Thank you. I just was given another way to say it. I feel like the wounding, the trauma, right? The programming, all of these things, it's like releasing, or rather no longer allowing those things to have control over your life, right? Freeing yourself from those things. And I feel like you do that by, again, sinking into your truth and honoring that, bringing that balance into your life, right? I think you'll find yourself feeling more free. But also, it's going to help you to release things as you move forward, the more you honor your truth. You have the Three of Swords here in reverse, which is fucking beautiful, Virgo, because again, this is helping you to move on. This is going to help you to move on, right? We asked right here for the tarot, how will this help you moving forward? Well, the Three of Swords literally talks about moving on in the reverse. So this is literally helping you to move forward, right? It's helping you to forgive yourself, potentially forgiving other people, to recover bits of yourself, because swords energy is your mind, right? So in the upright, this is heartbreak and suffering. You've caused your own heartbreak, your own suffering by allowing, how do I word this? Like getting trapped in your own mind, right? The fear, the what ifs, holding on to things, right? Not allowing forgiveness to come in, not allowing that recovery of yourself to come in, and not allowing yourself to move on. So I think this is beautiful because it's literally helping you to move forward, to release these things. It's glorious. And finally, you have the Knight of Wands. So it's absolutely beautiful. Absolutely fucking beautiful, Virgo, because this is going to help you to be a little bit more fearless, as you move forward. It's going to help you to embrace the adventure that life has to offer, to embrace where you feel called to go, right? What inspires you, what drives you, what ignites passion within your life, what fills you up with energy, right? What makes you feel alive, which, those things that push you to take action in your own life. And I feel like this is how the things that are coming in for the month of November are going to help you as you move forward. And it's so fucking powerful. I truly hope that you have embraced this energy, because I feel like it could carry you far. Your life could look tremendously different in a year if you allow these things to happen. So let's get some guidance for you, Virgo, moving forward. The first message you have here says you are a beauty on the front and has a stag there. That might be important for someone. That's why I kind of point these out. Okay, they might be additional signs. The message for you is this: dearest you, the common sayings, be in the world but not of it, and wear the world loosely, refer to the need to be engaged with life while not being attached to specific outcomes. Are you serious? You can't make this shit up, Virgo. I mean, it's essentially God, universe, source saying, I said what I said. Don't try to control things. Don't take this world too personally, for you are one of many co-creators here to play, and we have many ideas about how all this should play out. Just know the outcomes don't matter as much as the presence you bring to each experience and how you let yourself flow through life. There's a real freedom in knowing and accepting this. So will you wear the world loosely, or will it straitjacket you? It is your choice. Whatever happens, have the courage to keep trying to live as you are meant to. And when it comes to manifesting, don't worry about the how or even the why. We have that covered. Everything is going to turn out exactly as it should. Spirit has a plan, loving you always and forever. So, like I was saying, when I took that brief pause there, this is essentially beautifully wrapping up in a little gift box everything that I just talked about, right? So, it's this element, Virgo, of letting go of control, right? Releasing that control, letting the world, God, universe hold you, right? You also have celebrate life here, and there's a little like fairy kind of being that has butterfly wings or moth type wings with what appear to be daisies and, I don't know, some sort of, container. I don't even know what that is that this little being is holding. May resonate with you. The message here is, dearest you, we need you to know that you can change things miraculously for you and everyone and make things right. It's never too late. Wow. That message keeps coming in. Okay. Forgiveness is about releasing yourself from the burden of an old story. That Three of Swords in reverse. One in which you were a victim of someone else's actions or your own. You don't need to carry this around. You can set yourself free. Even advocating for good because of this experience requires your forgiveness to be effective. Forgiveness is never about condoning things that were done. It's about letting yourself off the hook from carrying the burden. Resentment and hurt are like viruses that spread to others. And that is the opposite of what you really desire, right? Imagine what your life would be like without the burdens that you carry when you do not forgive. You can do it. Everyone over here believes in you and adores you. Right? So there's that element of forgiveness again, right, coming in. So, I feel like there's a lot of growth potential here for you, Virgo, as you move forward, right, through the month of November and beyond into 2023. The final message here for you has what appears to be an angel on the front, and it says, live your dreams. Okay. The message is, dear you, human beings spend a huge percentage of life asleep, not just in bed, but the kind where you forget you are a spiritual, immortal being taking on a temporary human form. It's not your fault. Everyone suffers from spiritual amnesia once in a while. As you develop an identity, an ego, you begin to see through the eyes of a small self and have less connection to your soul self. You may not recognize this is going on, but you sure can feel it. We're here to remind you to look through your soul's eyes and see that magic is everywhere. Infinite potential lies in spirit, who is teaming with you to fulfill the contract you made to contribute to the evolution of the whole world. Wake up and remember that all the help you need is orchestrated in the invisible realms. Your mind, in alignment with divine intelligence, is unstoppable. The world is yours to co create. You are so loved, and we are all behind you. So, interesting with that card, Virgo, that message there, because you have this card here, right? Seeing potential. And then we have potential showing up again in this card here. Right. So I really do feel that this month and beyond for you, the guidance is to keep your eyes open, right? To allow yourself to reconnect with those other realms, with God, with source, with spirit, right? Surrendering, trusting that everything is going to happen the way that it should, that you are supported, that you are protected, that you have everything you need available to you should you allow yourself to stop carrying all the shit yourself, right? And to let source, let universe, excuse me, spirit, God move in your life, right? I really feel like it's allowing those things. And part of that could potentially be simply, which I say simply, though it's not so simple, forgiving yourself and situations that you've been in, forgiving other people, letting those things go, putting those burdens down at God's feet and saying, look, I've carried this for too long and now I'm just going to give it to you, right? Do what you will, Lord, because I just don't want to carry it any longer, right? I think, again, Virgo, this could potentially be an incredible period of growth for you, based on what's come through for both October and November, right? And looking at guidance for the future, or for November and beyond, right? And I feel like, again, next year you could find yourself in a very different place should you allow these things to happen. I really truly hope that something in this reading has been helpful or valuable for you in some way, shape, or form. If it has, please do the YouTube things by liking, sharing, and or subscribing. It truly does help the channel to grow. It tells YouTube that there's something here that someone else may like to see. And so I greatly, greatly appreciate you doing so. As always, it's been a beautiful pleasure to read for you. I truly am so very grateful for your time and your energy. I'm sending you the biggest of hugs. I love you so much. Take care of your beautiful soul. Have a powerful, powerful month. And I hope to see you on the next one. Bye.